Tom liked quiet places more than busy ones. He worked as a repair technician on a small cargo ship named Aurora. The ship carried food, tools, and machines between different space colonies. Most of the crew spent their free time playing games or talking in the mess hall, but Tom preferred to stay in the engine room. There, surrounded by humming machines and blinking lights, he found peace. He was not an explorer or a soldier. He was just a human who liked fixing things. While others dreamed of fame or riches, Tom dreamed of quiet stars and working engines that never broke down. He often said that machines made more sense than people. Machines never lied or shouted. They only needed care and attention. One evening, the Aurora was flying near the edge of mapped space. Outside the window, a curtain of green dust swirled in the darkness. It looked calm but strange, like a sea without end. Tom was checking the oxygen filters when a faint sound came from the radio panel. It was not the usual chatter or static. It was a short signal, repeating in slow rhythm. Beep, pause, beep, pause. Tom frowned and checked the instruments. The signal came from a nearby planet, one that was not on their route. It was small, greenish, and half covered in mist. He looked at the coordinates. The planet had no name, only a number. He went to the bridge to tell the captain. The captain, a tall man with tired eyes, was sitting in his chair reading a report. "Sir," Tom said, "there's a distress signal coming from the planet below." The captain raised an eyebrow. "Probably old debris or a broken beacon." "Ignore it. It's repeating clearly," Tom said. "Could be someone stranded," the captain sighed. "We're behind schedule. If we stop, the company will fine us. There are patrol ships for this kind of thing." Tom hesitated. "But what if there's someone alive down there?" "Then they should have called someone else," the captain said and went back to his report. Tom said nothing more, but his heart felt heavy. He returned to the engine room, pretending to check the power lines. The signal kept echoing in his mind. Each beep sounded like a voice calling for help. When night shift came, most of the crew went to sleep. The Aurora drifted silently through space. Tom sat alone at his desk, staring at the radio screen. The signal was still there, steady and lonely. He looked out the small window beside him. The planet below glowed faintly in the starlight. He thought about all the stories he had read as a child. Stories about brave explorers who helped others without waiting for orders. He never saw himself as brave, but something deep inside him whispered that he could not just ignore the call. Tom made his choice. He quietly packed his small repair bag, filled it with tools, a light, and a few rations. Then he went to the docking bay. A small maintenance shuttle was parked there. It was used for engine checks, not long trips, but it had enough fuel to reach the planet and come back. He checked the ship logs. No one would notice his absence for a few hours. Taking a deep breath, he opened the hatch and stepped into the shuttle. The engines hummed as he released the clamps. The Aurora grew smaller behind him while the planet grew larger ahead. Clouds swirled across its surface and flashes of green lightning danced in the mist. Tom guided the shuttle carefully through the atmosphere. The pressure made the hull creak, but the little craft held together. After some time, he saw the source of the signal, a faint blue light flashing among the trees of a silver forest. He steered toward it and landed gently nearby. The air outside was warm and clean. The trees were tall, their leaves shining like glass. The ground shimmered under the light of 2 moons. Tom put on his oxygen mask, though his scanner said the air was safe. He stepped out holding his light high. The blue signal came from a wrecked ship half buried in the ground. It looked unlike any human design. Its body was smooth, shaped like a shell, and its metal had a soft glow. The crash had broken one of its wings and smoke rose from the cracks. Tom moved closer. "Hello?" he called. "Is anyone here?" At first, there was no answer. Then a soft sound came from inside the wreck, a low hum almost like a sigh. Tom pushed through the broken doorway and found a small chamber. Lights flickered weakly on the walls. In the center lay a figure in silver clothing, breathing faintly. It was not human. The figure's skin had a gentle violet tone, and her hair was pale as moonlight. She looked young, with delicate features and thin silver lines across her cheeks that glowed softly. Her clothes were torn, and a small crystal device near her hand blinked weakly. Tom's heart raced. He had seen aliens before, traders and visitors, but never someone like this. She looked peaceful, almost fragile. He knelt beside her and checked her pulse. It was steady but weak. He found a small wound on her arm, caused by a metal shard, and carefully wrapped it with a bandage from his kit. She stirred and opened her eyes, bright and blue like clear water. She looked at him in surprise. "You are human?" Her voice was soft, accented, but understandable. "Yes," Tom said gently. "I'm here to help." "Can you understand me?" She nodded slowly. "My ship fell. Power core broken. I cannot call my people." Tom looked around the wreck. Many panels were cracked. The energy readings were low. "I can fix some of this," he said. "But I need time." The alien girl seemed unsure, but she did not stop him. She tried to sit up but winced in pain. Tom helped her lean against the wall. She looked at him with curious eyes, as if studying a strange creature. "My name is Lyra," she said softly. "I am from the world of Oralis." "I'm Tom," he said. "Engineer from Earth." She tilted her head. "Earth? Small blue planet near Sol. I know of it." Tom smiled faintly. "Good to know we're not completely unknown." He began checking the damaged panels. The energy crystal that powered her ship was shattered. Without it, the ship could not fly or send a signal. He sighed quietly. "This will take time." Lyra watched him work. "Why do you help me, human?" Tom looked at her for a moment. "Because you need help," he said simply. "That's reason enough." She said nothing for a while. Then she smiled faintly. "Humans are strange," Tom chuckled. "So I've been told." They worked through the night. Tom used his tools to patch the damaged circuits while Lyra guided him with soft instructions. Her knowledge of energy systems was far beyond his, but she was too weak to do much herself. Together they made small progress. When morning light touched the trees, Tom stepped outside to stretch. The forest sparkled under the twin suns. Birds with crystal feathers flew between branches, their wings making musical sounds. It was the most beautiful world he had ever seen. He looked back at the wrecked ship. Lyra was sitting near the entrance, watching him quietly. She looked less pale now, though still weak. "Your world is beautiful," Tom said. "It was not meant for visitors," she replied. "But perhaps today it made an exception." Tom smiled. He knew he would have to return to the Aurora soon or risk being discovered. Yet when he looked at Lyra, he felt that leaving her alone would be wrong. She was far from home, hurt and stranded. He decided to stay longer. He would help her fix the ship no matter how long it took. The rest could wait. As the suns rose higher, Lyra spoke again. "My people believe that every meeting among the stars has a reason. Maybe you came because the stars wished it?" Tom did not know what to say. He only nodded and went back to work, but inside, he felt something he had not felt in a long time, a quiet sense of purpose. Far above them, the Aurora drifted away, unaware that one of its crew had begun a journey that would soon change the fate of two worlds. The suns of the green planet rose slowly behind the silver forest, filling the sky with soft light. The morning breeze carried a sweet scent, and tiny glowing insects floated through the air like drifting stars. Tom stood near the wrecked alien ship, wiping sweat from his forehead after another hour of work. The repairs were slow, but he was making progress. Inside the ship, Princess Lyra rested on a blanket Tom had brought from his shuttle. Her strength was returning, though she still looked tired. The silver lines on her cheeks glowed faintly, a sign, she said, that her body was healing. She watched Tom work with calm eyes, sometimes giving quiet advice about her ship's systems. Tom had already fixed part of the communication unit and sealed the cracked hull. The biggest problem was the power core. The crystal that once powered the ship was broken beyond repair. Without it, there was no way to send a signal or leave the planet. Tom knew he could not build such a crystal with human tools. Yet he refused to give up. "There must be something else we can use," he said while studying the shattered parts. "You said the crystal draws energy from the planet's light, right?" Lyra nodded slowly. "Yes, but the core crystal is special. It was grown in the royal mines of Oralis. Only a few exist." "Then maybe we can find something that works the same way," Tom said. "Maybe the planet has other stones that hold energy." Lyra tilted her head, thinking. "There are caves in the eastern ridge. My scanners once showed high energy readings there, but the storm forced me to land before I could reach them." Tom looked at the small map screen. The ridge was about 15 kilometers away. The path crossed a wide valley filled with thick fog. It would be a long walk, but it was their only chance. He packed his tool bag and a few food packets from the shuttle. Lyra tried to stand. "I will go with you," she said firmly. "You should rest," Tom said. "Your arm is still weak." "I cannot let you face the unknown alone," she replied. "This is my world's territory." I know its ways better than you. Tom could see that she would not change her mind. He sighed and smiled. All right, princess. We go together? She frowned slightly. Do not call me princess. Just Lyra. Fine, Tom said. But only if you call me Tom. Lyra smiled faintly. Agreed. They started their journey at sunrise. The forest around them shimmered with light that filtered through crystal leaves. The path was soft and covered in glowing moss. Small animals watched from behind tree trunks, their eyes bright like gems. Tom found the world peaceful, almost dreamlike. Lyra walked beside him in silence for a while, her long silver hair moving gently with the wind. After some time, she spoke. Your people, the humans, you travel far, but you have no great empires in the stars. Why is that? Tom thought for a moment. We like to explore, but we also like to stay free. Some of us dream big, others just want to live quietly. Maybe that's why. In my world, Lyra said, everyone serves the royal order. Duty comes before freedom. That sounds hard, Tom said. Don't you ever want to just be yourself? Lyra looked away. A princess does not belong to herself. She belongs to her people. Tom heard a hint of sadness in her voice. Maybe one day that can change. They reached the valley by midday. A gentle mist covered the ground and the air was cool. Strange flowers grew along the edges, their petals glowing with soft light. Lyra scanned the area with a small wrist device. The caves are near that ridge, she said, pointing toward the far side of the valley. As they walked, Tom noticed how Lyra's mood changed. She seemed more relaxed, smiling at small creatures and touching the glowing plants as they passed. He realized that away from royal duties, she was simply a curious young woman, exploring her own world. After several hours, they reached the entrance of a large cave. The air inside shimmered faintly, and soft blue light came from deep within. Tom took out a portable lamp and led the way. The walls sparkled with mineral veins that looked almost alive. This place feels full of energy, he said. Lyra touched one of the glowing walls. Yes, the stones here absorb sunlight and release it slowly. If we can find one large enough, it might replace the power core. They searched deeper into the cave. The floor was uneven, but the path was clear. After some time, they reached a chamber where a giant crystal grew from the ground like a frozen flame. Its color changed from blue to green and back again. Tom whistled softly. That's it. That could work. He took out his cutting tool and began to shape a small piece of the crystal, careful not to damage it. Lyra knelt beside him holding a scanner. This one is pure enough, she said. It may hold enough light for a short journey. Tom placed the crystal inside a special container from his kit. Let's hope it fits your ship. They started their way back to the surface. The sun was setting, and golden light streamed through the forest. When they returned to the wreck, Tom set the crystal inside the power core chamber and connected the wires carefully. Lyra stood beside him, watching every move. Finally, he pressed the main switch. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the ship's lights flickered and glowed bright. A soft hum filled the air as energy flowed through the systems again. Lyra gasped softly. It works. Tom smiled with relief. Not perfect, but enough to power the signal. Lyra turned to the communication panel and began typing in her language. Symbols glowed across the screen. I am sending a message to my people. If they receive it, they will come. Tom leaned against the wall, feeling tired but satisfied. He had done what he came to do. Soon she would be rescued and he would return to his ship before anyone even noticed he was gone. Lyra finished sending the message, then looked at him. You did this for me without asking for anything. Why, Tom shrugged. You needed help. That's reason enough. In my world, she said. No one helps without a reason. Everything is part of a trade. Maybe humans are different, Tom said quietly. Sometimes we help because it feels right. Lyra studied his face for a long moment. Her expression softened. Then your kind is rarer than I thought. They sat outside the ship as night fell. The two moons rose together, casting silver light across the forest. The air was still and the sound of soft insects filled the silence. Tom looked up at the moons. Your world is peaceful when it's quiet like this. Lyra nodded. I often dreamed of walking freely under the moons without guards or duties. Tonight that dream came true. Tom smiled. Dreams are meant to be lived sometimes. She turned toward him, her eyes bright in the moonlight. When my people come, you will be honored for this. Tom shook his head. I don't need honor. I just want to see you safe. Lyra was silent for a moment. Then she said softly, "You may not want a reward, but I will still give you one in my own way." Tom laughed gently. "You don't owe me anything, Lyra." But she looked at him with calm determination. "You do not understand yet. Kindness always finds a way to return." The next morning, they checked the transmitter again. The signal was steady now, reaching out into the vastness of space. Lyra smiled with quiet hope. "If they heard it, they will arrive in a few days." Tom nodded. "Then we wait." They spent those days fixing the smaller systems of the ship, sharing stories and learning more about each other's worlds. Lyra asked about Earth, and Tom described its oceans, mountains, and the smell of rain. She listened with bright eyes, fascinated by the simple things he spoke of. She told him about Oralis, a world of floating islands and glowing rivers where people lived in harmony with light energy. Yet beneath its beauty, she said, were endless rules and expectations. Tom listened quietly. "You should visit Earth one day. No one would call you princess there. You could just be yourself," Lyra smiled. "Maybe one day when my duties end." Their friendship grew during those quiet days. The storm that once surrounded the planet began to fade, as if the world itself was at peace. On the 5th day, the receiver beeped. A faint signal appeared on the screen. Lyra's eyes widened. "They heard us." "A ship is coming," Tom smiled. "That's great news." Lyra turned to him, her face full of light. "You have kept your promise, Tom. You brought me hope when I had none." Tom looked out at the sky where a small star began to move closer. "Then that's enough reward for me." Lyra watched him silently, knowing that soon they would part. But deep inside, she already felt that her story with this human was far from over. The silver forest glowed softly under the twin suns as the days passed. The signal from Princess Lyra's ship continued to flash, reaching far across the stars. Every morning, Tom checked the transmitter to see if a new response had arrived, and every morning he saw the same calm light. The waiting did not bother him. He had grown used to the peaceful rhythm of this world. Each day had become a quiet routine. Tom worked on small repairs while Lyra taught him about her people's technology. They spoke about energy crystals, star maps, and the ways light could be shaped into power. In return, Tom told her about Earth's inventions, its machines, and the courage of people who built everything from nothing. They spent hours sitting near the ship, surrounded by glowing plants. Tom often caught Lyra watching him with curious eyes. Once, she said softly, "Your people work hard even when they gain nothing from it. You build things because you believe you can." "That is rare," Tom smiled. "Maybe we just like proving to ourselves that we can do it." Lyra nodded. "I think that is what makes humans special. You do not wait for destiny, you make it." Her words stayed in his mind for a long time. On the 4th morning after sending the message, Tom woke to a strange sound. It was low and deep, like thunder far away. He stepped outside the ship and saw the sky covered in dark clouds. The air felt heavy and the trees swayed in strong wind. The planet's storms were returning. Lyra came out of the ship, her face calm but serious. "The storm belt is shifting again," she said. "If my people do not arrive soon, we may lose the signal." Tom looked up. The clouds were moving fast. "How bad can it get?" She pointed toward the horizon, where flashes of green light danced among the clouds. "The upper atmosphere is filled with electrical currents. When the storm rises, it blocks all signals and traps ships inside. If we stay here, my rescuers will not find us." Tom understood quickly. "Then we have to reach orbit before it closes in." Lyra nodded. "The ship is not fully ready, but it can fly short distances. We can reach the edge of the storm and wait above it." Tom looked at the ship. Its hull still showed cracks and the energy readings were low. "It might not survive a full climb." Lyra smiled faintly. "It will if you are the one flying it." Tom blinked. "You want me to pilot an alien ship?" "You learned faster than most of my crew would," she said. "You understand machines as if they are alive." "I trust you." Her words filled him with both pride and worry. But there was no time to hesitate. The wind was already picking up speed. He ran to the cockpit while Lyra activated the inner systems. The ship hummed softly, its new crystal glowing in steady light. Inside the cockpit, everything looked smooth and bright. The controls were made of shining glass instead of metal. Symbols floated in the air, moving when touched. Lyra sat beside him and showed how to guide the ship using both hands. "You must think of direction as flow," she explained. "The ship reads your intent through touch. Do not fight it, move with it." Tom nodded slowly. "Like flying with the wind." "Exactly. He placed his hands on the glowing controls. The ship lifted gently, rising through the trees. The ground fell away, and the forest turned into a field of silver light below. At first, the flight was smooth. The air shimmered around the hull, and the sound of humming energy filled the cabin. Lyra watched the readings carefully, while Tom focused on keeping the ship steady. But as they climbed higher, the storm began to show its power. Lightning flashed across the sky, not in sharp lines, but in wide waves of green energy. The clouds moved like rolling oceans. The ship shook under the force, and the instruments flickered. Tom tightened his grip. The energy is unstable. Lyra pressed a few glowing panels. The shields are holding for now, but the crystal will not last long under this strain. Tom looked at her. If we go back, we lose the signal. If we go up, the storm might break the ship. What do you want to do? Lyra's blue eyes met his. We go up. I trust you to take us through. Her calm voice gave him strength. He guided the ship higher, steering carefully through the bright clouds. Every time lightning struck nearby, the ship trembled, but Tom adjusted the controls quickly. His hands moved with precision, guided by instinct more than logic. The air outside turned white, filled with swirling light. For a moment, Tom could not see anything. He closed his eyes and imagined the path like a rising current of wind. He let the ship move where his heart told it to go. Then suddenly the shaking stopped. The light faded and silence filled the cabin. Tom opened his eyes and gasped. They had broken through. Above them stretched a wide ocean of stars. The planet's surface lay far below, hidden under a thick layer of clouds that glowed green from the storm's light. Lyra let out a deep breath. You did it. We are above the storm. Tom smiled faintly, though his hands still trembled. Your ship is amazing. She looked at him with pride. It is my people's finest craft, but today it was your courage that guided it. He laughed softly. I just held on and hoped it would work. Hope is a kind of strength too, she said. They set the ship into a stable orbit. From there, the communication signal could travel freely. Lyra adjusted the frequency and began sending again. The screen showed a faint response from far away, stronger this time. They received it, she said, her voice bright with relief. My people are on their way. They will arrive in 2 rotations. Tom leaned back in the chair, exhausted but happy. Then we made it just in time. Lyra turned to him. You have done more than I could ever ask. You risked your life for someone you barely know. Tom shook his head. I didn't risk anything. I just couldn't walk away. She studied him with quiet eyes. Your kindness has no price. I am not sure I understand it yet, Tom smiled. Maybe you don't need to. Just know that it's real. They spent the next few hours in orbit watching the storm from above. It looked peaceful from a distance, like a giant glowing blanket over the planet. The stars shone brighter than ever. Lyra sat near the window, her hands folded. When I was a child, I used to look at the stars and wonder what kind of people lived beyond them. I was told that humans were simple beings who chased survival and trade. But you have shown me something different. Tom looked at her. What did I show you? That kindness can be a power stronger than any weapon, she said softly. You helped me not because of who I am, but because I needed it. Tom felt warmth in his chest. That's what humans do. We help each other, even across worlds. They shared a quiet moment. Outside, the storm glowed gently, painting their faces with green light. Later, Tom walked through the small corridors of the ship, checking systems while Lyra rested. He looked at the glowing panels and smooth walls, amazed at how different yet familiar it all felt. Machines, he thought, were the same everywhere. They only needed care. When he returned to the cockpit, Lyra was standing near the window. She turned as he entered. Tom, when my people arrive, they may not understand why you did this. They may think you expected a reward. Tom smiled. Then tell them the truth. I didn't do it for a reward. I will, she said softly. And they will remember. The two watched as a faint light appeared in the distance, slowly moving across the stars. It was still far, but clear enough to see. That must be your rescue ship, Tom said. Lyra nodded, her expression filled with both joy and sadness. Yes, soon they will take me home. Tom looked at her. That's good news. You'll finally be safe. Lyra turned back to the window. And you will go back to your world. I will, Tom said quietly. Back to work, fixing engines and wires. She smiled faintly. Then both our journeys will continue, just in different directions. As the rescue ship came closer, its light grew brighter. The stars around them seemed to glow in response. Lyra placed her hand on the control panel, then turned to him once more. "Tom, you may not believe in destiny, but I think the stars wanted us to meet," she said. He looked at her, unsure what to say. Maybe they did. For a long moment, neither spoke. The hum of the engines and the soft light of the storm filled the silence. When the rescue ship finally hailed them, Tom guided Lyra's ship toward it. The path was calm now, and the storm below began to fade. Lyra looked at him one last time as the ships prepared to dock. "Whatever happens next," she said, "know that your kindness will not be forgotten. You have changed more than you know." Tom nodded. "I'm glad I could help." And as the door lights turned blue, signaling the arrival of her people, he felt something inside him shift. He had come here to fix a machine, but instead, he had found a purpose among the stars. The twin suns of Lyra's planet glinted softly on the surface as the rescue ship approached. Tom guided the smaller craft carefully, following the docking protocol Lyra's people had sent in their final instructions. He felt a strange mix of pride and hesitation. Pride because he had helped Lyra survive and reach her people. Hesitation because he knew this moment meant goodbye, and goodbyes were never easy. The docking process was smooth. The two ships aligned perfectly as the magnetic locks engaged. Lyra turned to Tom, her face calm but filled with emotion. "This is it," she said quietly. "Soon I will be home." Tom nodded. "I know. I'm happy for you." She hesitated, looking around the cockpit, then placed her hand on his shoulder. "I wish I could take you with me. The stars are wide and your courage is rare. My people would welcome you, but your home is Earth, and I think I would miss you too much." Tom felt warmth in his chest. He realized that he had grown attached to this world and to Lyra in ways he had not expected. He smiled. "I think I'll survive. And the stars, they are always open. Maybe I will see you again." Her smile was faint but bright. "I hope so." They walked together to the docking doors, the space between the ships filled with soft light. The crew of the rescue ship waited, their uniforms shining under the artificial lights. They were tall and elegant, their movements graceful. Yet when Lyra stepped forward, they hesitated, glancing at Tom with curiosity. One of the crew members, a tall figure with soft silver eyes, stepped forward. "Princess Lyra, we have received your signal. We were unsure if you would survive the storm, but your ship was intact. You are safe now." Lyra bowed respectfully. "I am grateful. This is Tom, the human who guided me through the storm. He saved my life without thought of reward." The crew turned their eyes to Tom. There was a moment of silence, then a collective acknowledgement of his bravery. "A human," one said. "It is rare for your kind to assist others beyond your world. You are a remarkable being." Tom shrugged modestly. "I just did what I thought was right." Another crew member approached, offering a small device. "As a token of our appreciation, the princess asked us to give you this. It contains knowledge and maps of the stars, along with a communication link to her home. Should you ever wish to visit, you may do so freely." Tom accepted it, feeling a weight of honor. "Thank you," he said simply. Lyra stepped closer. "You deserve more than words or gifts. You gave me life when no one else could, and you did it without expectation. That is the greatest gift anyone can offer." Tom smiled. "I guess the greatest gift can be given without trying." Her eyes glimmered with understanding. "Exactly. You understand something my people take many lifetimes to learn." As the crew began preparations to take Lyra aboard, Tom realized he would soon be left behind. A quiet sadness settled in him, but he refused to show it. He wanted Lyra to leave without worry. "Before I go," she said softly, "I want to show you something." Tom followed her to the observation deck. From there he could see the planet below, a swirl of green storms and silver forests. Beyond, the stars stretched endlessly, and in the distance tiny lights marked the path of other ships traveling the galaxy. Lyra touched a panel, and a soft holographic display appeared. Stars, planets, and glowing lines connecting them filled the space in front of him. "These are some of the places I have visited," she said, "and some I wish to see. I want you to know that the universe is wider than we can imagine. You can choose to see it if you wish." Tom studied the holographic map. He could feel the pull of the stars. A part of him longed to explore, to learn more about what lay beyond Earth. And yet another part of him felt content with what he had accomplished. He had helped a princess, learned about a new world, And seen courage in himself he never knew existed? Lyra continued. This device, she said, pointing to the small object the crew had given him, contains knowledge of navigation, languages, and energy systems. You can travel safely, learn quickly, and perhaps even visit me one day. I want the stars to belong to you as much as they belong to me. Tom felt a warmth he could not describe. You are offering me more than I could have imagined. I don't know what to say. You don't have to say anything, Lyra replied. Your actions spoke louder than words. The sound of docking completion chimed softly. Lyra's ship would soon move to connect with the larger vessel. Tom knew the time had come to part. He swallowed hard, trying to keep his voice steady. I hope the next time we meet it will be under happier circumstances. She smiled, a gentle light in her eyes. We will meet again, Tom, I promise. The doors between the ships opened. Lyra's crew moved forward, guiding her gently. She turned to him one last time, her hand brushing against his. Remember what you did here and let it guide you. The universe is vast and there are many who will need help. You have the heart to give it, Tom nodded. I will, and I will never forget you. Lyra stepped through the doors and the hatch closed behind her. Tom watched as the ship began to rise slowly, joining the larger vessel. The lights of the storm below faded, replaced by the steady glow of the twin suns. He stood there for a long time, the gift of knowledge and the promise of future exploration in his hands. The universe seemed larger now, full of possibilities he had never considered. For the first time, he realized that helping someone had opened a door not only for them but for himself. After the ships vanished into the stars, Tom returned to the small craft. He inspected the controls, feeling the familiar comfort of machines under his hands. Yet his thoughts were no longer about repairs or energy systems. They were about the stars, the people he had met, and the potential that awaited beyond his own world. Days passed. Tom spent time analyzing the device Lyra had given him. He studied the maps, learning how to navigate through light currents and energy fields. He practiced communicating in new languages, his curiosity growing with each passing moment. The quiet planet no longer felt like a simple home. It felt like a gateway, a place that had changed the course of his life. Occasionally, he would look up at the sky and imagine Lyra aboard her ship, gliding through the stars with her crew. He smiled at the thought, feeling proud and connected. The bond they shared was unspoken, yet it was strong. One evening, while reviewing the star maps, a soft signal appeared on the device. It was faint but unmistakable. A voice spoke, melodic and calm. Tom, can you hear me? Tom's heart raced. He smiled widely. Lyra, is that you? Yes, she replied. I wanted to check if you are ready. The universe is vast and the first steps are yours to take. I am not far and I am not gone. I promised we would meet again. Tom felt a surge of hope. I'm ready. I think I understand now. The stars, they are calling. Lyra laughed softly. Good. Remember, courage and kindness go farther than any engine or weapon. Take them with you always, Tom nodded. I will. And I will see you again, Lyra, I promise. They spoke for a long time, sharing plans, dreams, and quiet laughter. The connection, though distant, felt as close as the moment they first worked together. Tom realized that even though she had returned to her people, their bond had not ended. It had grown stronger, stretching across the stars like a bridge. As the sun set on the horizon, painting the sky in shades of gold and silver, Tom stood on the edge of the forest. He held the device tightly, feeling the energy of new worlds within his grasp. He knew that his life had changed forever. Helping Lyra had given him more than he could ever ask. It had given him purpose, courage, and a vision of what was possible. And as the stars began to appear in the darkening sky, he made a silent promise to himself. He would travel. He would explore. And one day he would meet her again among the stars. The quiet of the planet no longer felt lonely. It felt like the first chapter of an adventure that had only just begun. Tom looked upward, toward the infinite sky, feeling ready for whatever lay ahead. Tom spent weeks preparing his small craft for the journey beyond the planet. Every day he studied the device Lyra had given him, learning the star maps, energy pathways, and the navigation techniques her people used. He felt excitement building in his chest. The universe, which had once seemed so distant, now felt within reach. He stood on the edge of the launch platform, looking at the sky. The twin suns cast their soft glow and the first stars began to appear. He imagined Lyra somewhere among them, guiding her ship with grace and strength. He felt a deep connection to her, one that distance could not weaken. As he climbed into the cockpit, he checked every system carefully. The engines hummed smoothly, the navigation device ready to guide him through light currents and cosmic winds. He touched the controls gently, remembering Lyra's words about courage and kindness. Those qualities had opened doors for him before, and now they would guide him to new worlds. He pressed the launch button, and the craft lifted smoothly into the sky. The planet grew smaller beneath him, its forests and rivers glimmering under the twin suns. Tom felt a sense of freedom he had never known. The journey was just beginning, and the stars stretched endlessly before him. As he left the atmosphere, the device activated automatically. A holographic display appeared, showing the vast network of stars and paths he could follow. He chose a route that would lead him close to Lyra's home system, hoping to arrive there when she would still be present. The path was long, but he was determined. Days turned into nights, and nights into days as he traveled through the quiet expanse of space. He marveled at the colors of distant nebulae, the gentle glow of faraway suns, and the patterns of orbiting planets. Every sight reminded him of the vastness of the universe and the possibilities waiting for him. One evening, as he passed a small cluster of stars, a signal appeared on the device. It was faint but familiar. The melodic voice of Lyra spoke, calm and reassuring. "Tom, you are on the right path. I can see your progress. Your courage shines through just as it did when you helped me. Remember, the universe is full of wonder and challenges. Face them with an open heart." Tom smiled and spoke into the communicator. "I am learning. Every day the stars teach me something new. I am ready to see your world and meet you again." "There is a place nearby," Lyra said. "A station where travelers from many worlds come to rest. It is a safe place for learning and preparation. I suggest you visit it before reaching my home. You will find friends and knowledge there." Tom followed her guidance, adjusting his path. The station appeared in the distance, a shining structure of light and metal orbiting a small blue planet. He entered the docking bay carefully, the engine slowing as he landed. The station was bustling with beings from different worlds. Some were tall and elegant, others small and energetic, and some had forms he had never imagined. Yet all moved with purpose, sharing knowledge and helping each other. Tom felt a sense of belonging among them. He explored the station, visiting classrooms and workshops, learning about technologies he had never seen before. He practiced using energy shields, communication devices, and advanced navigation tools. Every skill he learned made him more confident for the journey ahead. One day, while walking along the observation deck, he saw a small group of travelers gathered around a display of star charts. Among them was a young alien named Jorah, who smiled warmly at him. "You are new here," she said. "I have seen your craft arrive. You must be brave to travel alone." Tom nodded. "I am learning. My goal is to reach a system near Lyra's home. I want to meet her again." Jorah's eyes widened. "The princess? She speaks highly of you. She says you helped her when no one else could." "That is a rare honor." Tom felt warmth at her words. "I just did what was right. But now I want to continue to see the universe and understand it more." Jorah smiled. "Then you are like many here. The stars call to those who are curious and kind. You will find guidance and friends if you seek them." Tom spent several weeks on the station, making friends and learning as much as he could. He realized that every being he met had something valuable to teach. He practiced new skills, improved his navigation, and grew in confidence. The universe was vast, but it was not lonely. There were others like him, exploring and sharing knowledge. Finally, the day came to leave the station. Tom climbed into his craft, feeling stronger and more prepared than ever. He activated the device and set a course toward Lyra's home system. The stars stretched endlessly before him, and the journey felt both long and full of promise. As he approached the system, he saw a bright planet surrounded by rings of silver dust. Ships moved gracefully around it, and the energy of the planet was gentle yet powerful. Tom's heart raced. He had arrived. A voice came from the device. "Tom, you are close. My people are aware of your approach. They will welcome you, and I am waiting." Tom smiled, feeling a mixture of excitement and calm. "I am ready," he said softly. The atmosphere of the planet glowed as he entered. His craft descended carefully, guided by the navigation device. The landing pad was elegant, surrounded by soft light. Lyra's people were there welcoming him with grace and respect, and then he saw her. Lyra stepped forward, her presence radiant and calm. She smiled as their eyes met. "Tom," she said, her voice warm and joyful. "You have come. I knew you would." Tom felt his heart lift. "I promised I would. And I have learned so much along the way." Lyra took his hand, her touch gentle and reassuring. "Your courage has grown. You have seen the universe with an open heart, and that is what makes you remarkable. My people and I are honored to have you here." They walked together through the beautiful city, filled with towering buildings of light and energy. The streets were peaceful, and the air carried the soft hum of advanced technology. Tom marveled at everything, yet he felt a calmness in Lyra's presence. They visited the gardens where plants glowed softly and flowed with energy. Birds of unusual shapes and colors sang in harmony. Lyra explained each plant's purpose, each sound's meaning. Tom listened carefully, realizing that this world was as much about wisdom as it was about beauty. Later, they arrived at the central plaza, where a large fountain glimmered with energy. Lyra turned to him. "Tom, I wanted to give you something more than knowledge or gifts. I want you to feel at home here. This world is open to you, and your journey does not have to end. You may explore with us, learn, and grow. Your kindness and courage have earned you a place among my people." Tom was overwhelmed. I don't know what to say. I never expected this." "Then let your actions speak," Lyra said, smiling. "You have already shown what you are capable of. Now you may continue your journey, but with a home to return to, and perhaps one day we will travel the stars together." Tom felt joy unlike anything he had experienced. He realized that helping Lyra had given him more than he could ever imagine. It had given him purpose, courage, knowledge, and now a home among the stars. Days turned into weeks as Tom explored the planet and learned from its people. He studied their technologies, learned about their culture, and shared stories of Earth. He realized that kindness, courage, and curiosity were universal, connecting beings across worlds. One evening, as the twin sun set, Tom and Lyra stood together on a hill overlooking the city. The sky glowed in shades of gold and silver, and stars began to appear. "Do you remember?" Lyra said softly. "The day you saved me?" Tom nodded. "I do. I remember the storm, the fear, and the choice I had to make. And I remember you trusting me." "And that trust," Lyra said, "led us here. You helped me, and now the universe is open to you. You did not ask for reward, and yet you received everything." Tom smiled, feeling the truth of her words. "Sometimes," he said, "doing the right thing leads to more than we imagine." Lyra looked at him, her eyes filled with warmth. "Yes, and now the stars are open to us. We can explore, learn, and grow together. The universe is vast, but we are not alone." Tom took her hand, feeling a deep connection. "I promise, Lyra, I will never forget this journey. And I will never stop exploring, learning, and sharing." "And I will be with you," Lyra replied, "in spirit, in guidance, and in friendship. Together we will see the wonders of the stars." As the night sky filled with glittering stars, Tom felt a sense of completeness. He had saved a princess, discovered courage within himself, and found a home among the stars. The universe was no longer distant. It was full of possibilities, friendship, and hope. The journey that had begun with a simple act of bravery had led to everything he had ever dreamed of. And as he looked at Lyra, standing beside him with a gentle smile, he knew that the stars were not only a destination but a promise of adventure, learning, connection, and endless possibilities. And for Tom, that promise had finally come true.